Oh yeah, I remember. I might die there. Lives. No. Okay. Okay, what the hell is going on? Yep. Oh, are you fucking kidding? Come on, Lucy. Huh? Pretty much they're by themselves. All by themselves. Yep. To deal with her. I deal absolutely no damage. Early modded Skyrim is just pretty much possible. Wait, what? Ocean? Just...
A little help over here?
Wait. There. Y'all need to kill the one that's upstairs. Wah. Okay. Oh, they all died. Boom! Oh, I'm dead. I hate it. Need to find the main road. Bruh. Oh my fucking. Oh my fucking god. What can I do? What can I do? What can... What can... Way around. Just run away, guys. Just go. Not worth. Oh no! They're doing well. They're doing well. They're doing incredibly well. Nice. There's a much. Oh, and there's the Drew. I'm not fighting the Drew. Go on and stay. I'll stay restless jogger. It's everyone's zone. Nope. Nope.
They can't hurt Uncle Rogvir. Tell them he didn't do it.
Positions.
Sorry, you need to go home. Go home and stay there until your mother comes.
Traitor!
Thing is,
Stormcloak lover!
You should tell her that her uncle is scum that betrayed
You
his High
betrayed
King.
us.
Best she know now, Advar.
All heart, Aiden.
Head off?
Not right now.
Ulfric Stormcloak escaped the city after he murdered High King Tori. By opening that gate for Ulfric, you betrayed the people of Solitude. He doesn't deserve to speak!
There was no murder.
Liar.
Gallant story. He beat the High King in fair combat. Such is our way. Such is the ancient custom of Skyrim and all Nords.
thing is, he ends up
Stay.
on dying.
I go to
Can't help.
Dart.
Amulet of Talos.
We should have drawn it out some more.
Not right now.
Deserved a
Rogvir.
slower death.
Why did it
Ah, I
have
guess
to
it's
be
all
like
over.
this? Definitely going in my part of
Traitor
the
right up to the
I
end.
still
I
can't
don't
believe he
know
knew what he was doing
Man
when he
opens
opened
a
that
gate.
gate.
Head off?
Got
Doesn't
it.
seem right to me.
Go away.
The women here act like they have a sword shoved up their rear end.
Damn.
What is it, stranger? If you're looking for work, I'm not the person to ask.
I'm looking for a fight. Have you got one in your menu?
Now there's a strange request. I suppose there's no harm in it. Go on then. Grab a drink and sit down. I'll warn you now, friend. I'm not exactly known for conversation. The Swillen here isn't worth drinking much of either.
right. Show these milk drinkers what's good in life.
I'll warn you now, friend.
Huh?
I'm not exactly
Okay.
many things. When you've lived as long as I have, some of them might even be worth remembering.
That's hardly an answer.
No, I suppose not. What you have to understand, however, is that I'm not about to relive the past, simply because we share a flagon. Very well. I'll talk with you. What do you want to know?
Master.
Nothing. But I suppose that's the problem. My name is Yagir, but back when I was younger, they called me Stormhand. A silly name, but the life of a warrior tends to leave its mark in any number of ways. Yes, but those days seem like they were a lifetime ago. Too old. I have lived far past my time, where countless younger men now feast with shore. I do, but most of them have faded into memory after all these years. For the longest time, I thought I was Talos Reborn, or the Great Dovahkiin.
Nope. Nope, you're
The
not.
foolishness of youth, and an unwillingness to let cooler heads prevail when my blade was in hand. All across Skyrim, even down past the Geralt Mountains, I traveled from town to town, cave to cave, seeking thrills and adventure, from days of slaying Draugr and bandits, to nights of feasting and womanizing in the local taverns. I was unstoppable. But those days are behind me now. You are still young, and you have the whole world ahead of you. Enjoy it while you can. It won't last forever.
What changed?
The same thing that changes anyone. Love. I met my wife while working in Whiterun Hold. A group of rogue students from the college had set themselves up nearby to attack travelers. While they no doubt needed food and supplies as any of us, it soon progressed from stealing to outright massacring everyone in their way. I'd been hired by a group of local farmers, led by two patriarchs, to track the mages and put an end to the attacks.
How did you?
The sites had already been cleared by the guards, and anyone I talked to in town were either scared stiff or didn't know anything. I heard that another warrior was also on their path, a fierce, red-headed Nord woman, and I welcomed the challenge. There was nothing wrong with some competition, after all, especially with a warrior of equal skill. However, the winter rains had set in, and as any hunter can tell you, this only made finding my targets more difficult. For days, I searched the region, but there was no sign. Tired and annoyed, with days since my last fight, I made the journey back to Dragon's Reach. As I was making my way back, I crossed paths with the merchant near the western watchtower. The rains were relentless as Kain's wrath fell from the heavens, and the merchant was huddled in furs, with an old horse in tow. With barely a hint of sunset poking through the gloom and rain, I walked over and asked them if they needed help back to the city. The woman smiled at me and threw back her hood, red hair and a twinkle in her eye. Before I could even respond, a lightning bolt came crackling through the rain, and she threw herself forwards, knocking both of us to the ground. The mages had sneaked up on us, and I cursed myself for not being more aware. Outclassed by my rival, no less. The rain was endless and difficult to see in, but it was as much of an advantage to us as it was the attackers. I remember pushing myself up from the soil to see one of the mages come running up, a dagger in one hand and a fire spell in the other. As quickly as I could, I unsheathed my weapon, rolled to the side, and brought it up in a swing, putting all my might behind it. The mage crumpled to the ground, and I leapt toward another of them, tearing through their barrier and running my blade through their chest. My friend was being attacked by two mages, but fought them off with a sword and a makeshift shield formed from a section of the cart. I went to help her, only to find another 3 mages moving towards me. Clearly, they thought to overwhelm us with numbers.
I'm no mate.
Born and raised a warrior, eh? I never thought to use spells myself, other than some rudimentary healing magic.
Yeah, pretty much.
My greatsword was practically my best friend, and it saved my life here, as well as many more times.
You fought him up.
Aye, but not without ending up with scars of our own. The rain continued to pour down, and the Whiterun plains were too open to try for any strategy. The woman and I ended up back to back, the group of mages almost having exhausted their magical reserves. At last, we found an opening and finished the rest of them off. By that point, our clothes had been soaked with rain and blood, and we were both tired. We agreed to wait till morning and sought refuge in the watchtower, still abandoned back then. The fire pit was serviceable, and some old furs and hay were enough to form a place to rest. There was only room for one of us, but we found a way to make it work, and it kept the two of us warm until the rain passed. Next morning, we returned to Dragon's Reach and told those farmers that the job was done. I was already taken with her by then, and we agreed to split the gold equally. After living a free life on the path, I wanted to be with her. I couldn't contain myself. By the city gate,
For someone who
I
didn't
told
want
her
to
how I
talk
felt
them.
one nervous outpour.
I got
must
stuff
have
to
looked
do,
like a
mate.
Fool. She just stood there, watching me as she listened intently. When I was finished acting like a boy with his first crush, she smiled softly. To my surprise, she leapt forward into a hug and kissed me on the cheek. Love. True, God's damned love.
Unlike quite a
From
cop.
that moment onwards, I gave up the womanizing, and we lived a life on the road together. I was a warrior in my prime, and had the love of my life to match. I couldn't have asked for a greater gift than her.
Nice.
We were an odd sight. 2 warriors working together. Most of the time, it's easier for adventurers to go their own way, but we didn't mind it. She was so beautiful, I can't even begin to describe it. And she showed me there was so much more to life.
Let me guess, she did.
2 young warriors, fierce and in love. For years, we took work across Skyrim, even further on occasion, and lived however we liked. Most of all, we were together. But those days can't last forever.
What happened?
After being married under the eyes of Mara, we agreed to settle down and move to a small farm on the outskirts of Shore Stone. By then, she was with child, and we couldn't risk any more fights. We hung up our weapons on the wall and started a new life together. I wanted to be with her no matter what, but it wasn't that easy. You seem like the adventuring sort. So
Yeah, I get it.
All my life had been spent in battle, and there I was, a mountain of a man that didn't know one end of a hoe from the other. I was no farmer. I was built for war, not milking cows.
That depends on the cow.
Winter came and went, and she gave birth to a baby boy, my son. I thought he was pathetic. All the mewling like an animal. He would cry all night, or otherwise sit gurgling on the floor, babbling in the way that children do. Soon's breath. What on earth was I supposed to do with him? I didn't know how to be a father. I tried. I really did. But all it did was make my wife's day more difficult. She had a way with children, as if she'd been destined to be a mother. And then, well, then it all comes back to the Great War. After years of living as an adventurer on the road, I decided to enlist with the Legion. Even if I couldn't help our home, I could, at the very least, help protect my wife and son. Battle was in my blood, and it would be good to
better
get
should
back in the
switch
field,
sides, man.
or so I thought. Great might be in its name, but I witnessed unimaginable cruelty, and no one walked away from it without scars. When I returned, my boy was almost 2 winters old. It was strange, really, when time passes and stands still.
Oh, I can roll.
My wife had pleaded with me not to go, not to throw away everything we'd built together, but she was relieved to see that I was still alive. Of course, but what I had seen in the war had put all thought of bloodshed from my mind. I was content, at least, to live out my days in peace, even if life on the farm had its hardships. The boy even started to grow on me, and it felt like we were finally a
And I
family.
just got...
Yes. One day, my son must have been 3 or 4 years old by then. I was out with the cows when a group of bandits came riding up. They demanded gold for our protection against any threats before riding off, saying that they'd return in a few days. It was all nonsense, of course, but I had a family to look after, and both my wife's and my own weapons had been gathering dust above the fire. We talked for a long time and decided that we would pay them, at least for the time being. The farm had set us back quite a lot, but we had spent years building up a small fortune on the road. In hindsight, it was likely word of that fortune that brought those bandits to us in the first place. Gold. What good are septums? True to their word, the bandits came back a few days later. I remember that day, because the afternoon light made the leaves look like they were on fire. But they came in greater force than we were expecting. As I handed the gold to their leader, he knocked it out of my hand and spat in my face. They wanted all of it, or they would kill us. I would have torn him limb from limb right there, but I had a family to look after. I turned and walked slowly towards the house, my wife glaring from the doorway. She was dig on himself whenever she got that look in her eyes and her arms were crossed, but all she did was glare at the bandits. I never got the chance. As I moved inside, carefully watching the bandits from the window, one of them had crept up to the side of the house and set it on fire. When the smell of burnt wood hit us, I reached for our weapons above the fireplace and threw my wife's sword in her direction. They were hoping to burn us and the fortune out in one go. The bastards. A volley of arrows tore into the side of the house, and we threw ourselves down on the ground before crawling out, using the smoke as cover. It had already begun to fill the house, that smell that clings to your throat. But we could still save our home. We just had to move quickly. My wife leapt towards the ones waiting by the horses, while I ran around to the side, near the trees where the others lay in wait. The thrill of battle might be exhilarating, but fighting for your home and loved ones is another thing entirely. It's all-consuming and ruthless. The bandits were slain, one by one, and the two of us fought in battle, one last time. I managed to save the house, but it was badly damaged, and we were both injured in the fighting. We were safe and alive, and then it hit us.
Kiddo.
Before the bandits had arrived, my son had been laying down to sleep for his afternoon nap, hoping that whatever happened, he'd be safe. But in that very same wing of the house, where the fire had started. I kicked in the door and found him exactly where he was, lying on the cot I'd carved for him a few weeks earlier. And he wasn't breathing. I could barely contain myself as I took his body in my arms and walked out slowly to where my wife was waiting. I didn't have to say anything. As soon as she saw him, she collapsed to the ground and wept her heart out. It broke me. As much as we loved each other, that was the end of everything. I left my blade behind me, and I have been out here ever since. Pray that you never have to go through such a thing, traveler, for not even the gods can bear it. You don't have to say anything. All I need is a warm drink. Gods know it's been cold out there. No, that ship has long since sailed. Last I heard, she was in the palace at Windhelm, her shield maiden days well behind her. We aren't enemies by any means, but even love can't survive the death of a child. It was for the best that we went our separate ways. I still love her, gods, with all my heart, but what we had was in the past. Now, well, now, all the two of us have are the memories together. His name was Torin. My boy. My son. What brings you here?
Yeah. Okay, so next step will be going up.
I'm here on Imperial business, citizen. Do not talk to me.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I hate the market missions.
What can I do for you?
For sale, 5,000 septims. I don't have.
Huh? Huh? What? Who are you? Oh, you come to steal my dragon breath mead? Well, too bad. Some fellow already did that. Oh, real clumsy drunk. Bald as a chicken egg, and a face with just as much expression. A brown egg, though. Red guard with white whiskers and beggar clothes as dirty as the wrong end of a hawker.
That sounds like you.
Drank it all, he did. You see that thief. You tell him he's a bad sneak, and his breath smells like...
Damn, thank you, Wolf.
Also, mead. It does? Oh dear. I better do something about that then. Chewing on dragon's tongue usually does the trick. At least that's what my personal alchemist used to tell me. Was the fire that burned up the stink. But I had to get rid of him so I could buy more mead. I didn't get wealthy by wasting my fortune on luxuries. Here's your mistake. What with the state of my tunic and the fact that I sleep on the street. Sure, I could shop at Radiant Raymond. Maybe buy that house. What's it called? Proudspire Manor. But that would exhaust 1/10 of my fortune. I mean, what's it going for? 5 gold pieces? 7, maybe? And you got to furnish it, too. It'd be a bit foolish to squander my fortune on something I don't need.
Yeah, you're right.
You help me. You help people, right? That's what you do. My master has abandoned me.
abandon his people, and nothing I say can change his mind. Now he refuses to even see me. He says I interrupt his vacation. It's been so many years. Won't you please help?
How can I find your master?
Last I saw him, he was visiting a friend in the Blue Palace. But no one as mundane as the Jarl. No, no. Such people are below him. No, he went into the forbidden wing of the palace to speak with an old friend. Said it had been ages since they had last had tea. Oh, and you'll need the hip phone. It's very important. No entering Pelagius's wing without that.
Ooh. Dragonborn's yellow.
I'm sorry, can I help you? The museum is currently closed until further notice. Oh yes, my advertisement. I am looking still, but I do hope you are better than the others I have hired as of late. I have a list of items that I would very much like to have for the museum. If you can recover them, I'll pay you handsomely for them.
Okay.
If you manage to bring them all back here, we could even discuss some other plans I have in mind.
Okay. Get right on that.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to get my hands on one of the 6th House Bellhammers of the House of Dagoth. They have become increasingly rare. One apparently was stolen recently by some bandits, apparently held up in Broken Helm Hollow. Another item was stolen from a local collector by the Silent Moon bandits. The item is known as Denstagner's Ring. It's likely still in the hideout west of Whiterun, if they haven't fenced it yet, that is. And lastly, a small shipment of Arcaviri relics is on its way across Skyrim, bound for Markarth. Amongst the items were some jade carvings. The caravan, however, was attacked by Forsworn, and it's likely they may be in possession of some of the relics. Find what you can, and I'll pay you well for it.
I'll try to get it done. Whoa, damn. Wait, build okay, okay. And then, and just quick save before I die again. Uh-huh.
What was that? Is someone there? Over here! Hey down,
Fuck the face mask. Two masks. God.
Nothing says goodbye. Quite like a dozen points of steel. Themselves up this way.
But the thing is, there was one that had that nice.
You're gonna die for that.
Oh.
Fire easy. Won't get away with that.
Was that pouring a tongue? Merchant.
Yes. I'm guessing. Yes. I remember.
I guess I was just hearing things.
Yes, you were.